Mock the Zoom lady.
She's so annoying.
She is so annoying.
Recording in progress. I don't know why she's gonna say it as if we don't know. I literally said I'm about to hit record.
I'm Blair.
And I'm Kirsten, and we are mediocre
Mediocre
content. Apparently mediocre introductory as well.
We're so bad at this.
So bad at it. But how are you doing? Everything good?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I am currently scrolling through Amazon to try and figure out what to wear to the Harry Styles concert.
Oh my gosh, of course you are.
And yeah, there's a lot of really like colorful and fun things.
Yeah.
I recently scrolled past some metallic shorts, and you can get metallic shorts in a variety of colors, and you can get matching sunglasses to go with it for the grand price of $21.99.
I mean, if you didn't have the matching sunglasses to your metallic shorts, I mean, whatever would you do?
Capitalism, everyone.
Capitalism. What is that thing from TikTok? Capitalism really popped off today.
Hey, boy.
Like it's like perfect.
So cute.
Gotta have the combination there. Yeah. Especially for a Harry concert, you know.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, and then there's like people bring like feather boas and like and like flags and like all kinds of things to like throw up onto the stage. I mean, and I sent you the chicken nugget video, right? Where like somebody threw a chicken nugget at him.
He was like, don't eat it.
He like stopped in the middle of a song and was like, okay, who threw the chicken nugget?
Isn't he like vegetarian also?
He is vegetarian. So he could not indulge in the chicken nugget.
I don't think that was the reason he couldn't indulge.
I understand. There's a lot of like health and safety issues
Many
with the
concerns.
chicken nugget.
Yeah.
However,
he is also vegetarian.
That is the other thing.
The additional info.
Yes, the additional info. So how are you?
Good. Exciting to be starting this podcast together. Exciting to start a new venture selfishly, just to talk for an hour and indulge ourselves.
Yes. So, listener, we are doing this podcast because Kirsten told me to. No, because we just wanted to like spend an hour talking to each other, and we can't seem to do that like regular people on the phone. So
why not record it?
We've decided to record it and put it on the internet.
Yes, as any smart person in this day and age would do, really.
Correct.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But with that said, we do have a little bit of a disclaimer we'd like to provide, because we don't know what kind of topics in the future we're going to hold. So we'll probably say this disclaimer a little bit early on into every episode, just to kind of get your mind clear.
So we would just like to say we are not experts on anything. Like anything that we talk about in our podcast is not professional advice.
No.
So please do not take it as such.
No. Definitely don't.
We are educated, but we are not that educated. And so we want this to be, if anything, a conversation.
Right.
So if we talk about something and you have something you want to add or you want to say, let us know. We'll at the end of the show, we'll go through like our social media and email and all that stuff. So we'll give you guys that information. But do you like if you'd like, and if you care that much, do your own research, make your own choices.
Yes, good ones.
We're absolving ourselves of any responsibility now. So don't come for us. We are not. Yeah,
we'll deny it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So don't be doing that. And also have fun. So this is more for us to have fun and hang out with each other and hang out with you, our dear listener. So we hope you have an awesome time listening to the show. And with that, we're going to jump into our good news segment.
So the first thing of good news is kind of old news. Um, for those who don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio has a new girlfriend, allegedly. And
Does he?
it is Gigi Hadid, and she is
Really?
27. She's 27 years old. Now, this is significant because
it is very significant. Oh, you mean the gap?
Yeah, no, but no. So this is significant because historically, as he has aged, his girlfriends have only been in the 24 to 25 age range.
Oh,
Yes.
gross.
So for people who are our age, this is good news.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No. Is this pattern of behavior like calculated or just by chance that that's the age group typically?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I figured you would have asked him at least.
Well, yeah. I know. Yeah, okay.
What
we
was
have
your
one
intention?
listener, Kirsten. One listener. We're not Leonardo. I don't have access to Leo's personal information.
We're not big enough for that.
No. But the average age of his girlfriends have been 22.9 according to an article from Insider, and there's a fancy chart on Reddit about this if you haven't seen it already. It's very fun. It has all the girlfriends by name and their ages, and then there's a line of like a trend line of Leonardo DiCaprio's age, and they all fall underneath his age, and it's a very good chart. It's a very good chart. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right this second because I need to see. Oh, it is interesting. Okay. It's interesting more so that someone has done this more than the information itself.
I think it's great. I think it's good news for people who are, in their early 30s because there's still a chance.
There's legit in the middle of the chart where there's 325s, it literally says Leo's age limit. That's interesting.
Yes.
Wow. Anyway.
So anyway, good news.
Good news.
Our second piece of good news is Harry Styles. I don't know if you've heard of him. Harry Styles sold out 15 nights at the Madison Square Garden recently.
Oh, wow.
And he has a banner that permanently hangs in Madison Square Garden now.
Oh.
And he is the third artist to have said banner. The first artist is Billy Joel. He's had two different banners for a string of shows that he has had over the years. I don't really know that much about him. And then also Fish also has a banner in Madison Square Garden.
What is Fish?
Fish is a band.
I gathered.
I think classic rock is the genre in which they.
Okay.
My brother will literally kill me for not knowing this.
I don't know this.
I don't know either. But anyway, so those two artists also have banners, but Harry Styles has one now, and it's very exciting. We're all very proud.
Yes, very good, Harry. Congratulations.
Would you like to talk to the people about, or the person who's listening about our One Direction phase, or are we going to scan over that for now?
We're going to skip that. We'll actually make an episode on it.
Okay. All right.
I'm not ready
We're tabling the Harry Styles talk for later.
Tabling. Yes.
All right. In medical news, 2 to 3 cups of coffee can lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. Now, I don't know about you, but like over the years, I've seen conflicting information about this.
I have seen conflicting information, and it's like you'll even on other social media platforms like TikTok these days, you'll have all the different doctors speaking their piece, about subjects like this that are weirdly still hot. I don't know. At this point, drink the coffee if you want the coffee, or don't drink the coffee if you don't want the coffee. I'm going to drink the coffee. Literally just bought a new Keurig this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, drink the coffee or don't.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say we're both coffee drinkers. We both love a morning cup of coffee.
I do.
Maybe even an afternoon cup of coffee.
Depending, I'm game for that. Yeah.
Yeah. But in my humble opinion, the pumpkin cream cold brew is the best coffee.
Ooh. I think that the Irish cream coffee cold brew is typically my favorite from Starbucks.
Ooh.
But I like Irish cream, but there's a restaurant near us that serves coffee called Mudslide, and it's a take on the frozen Mudslide if you've ever had like an alcoholic
Oh.
version, but they
Yeah,
put
yeah.
Irish cream in it, and it tastes like heaven.
Interesting.
Literally delicious.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, you know,
Okay.
pumpkin's all right.
I've honestly never heard of that drink from Starbucks before, the Irish cream cold brew thing.
Yeah, they have it's seasonal, so it's typically in the winter time
Oh, okay.
when I
Gotcha.
typically get it. Yeah, they run out within the first couple of winter months. I don't know when they end it, but it's like December-ish time frame typically, I think.
Love that. I'll have to
Yeah.
try that when it comes
Yeah.
out.
Worth it.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. Um, so a cat named Bandit in Mississippi
Mhm.
saved a man from getting robbed.
Of course.
This is funny because in the office, Angela's cat is named Bandit, and she like during the fire episode when
You got
Dwight
it.
like sets off the fire alarm.
Yes.
She like throws the cat. I'm sure a million people have seen this, but like she throws the cat up into the ceiling. She goes, "Save Bandit!" And so I just thought that this was really funny that this cat was saving his owner from getting robbed, and his name was Bandit.
Yes, that's honestly the best news. Out of all of these so far, that's the best.
Yes, and so apparently this cat is 20 pounds, which is wild,
Hefty.
hefty. And he alerted his owner by that the two strange men were breaking into his house by meowing from the kitchen. And when that didn't work, he ran into his owner's room, jumped on him, and pulled off his covers.
Oh my goodness. What a smart little googie. I love
I
that.
know.
Oh my
And there was
goodness.
a picture of him in the article, and he's a calico cat, very cute,
Of course.
stylish.
Stylish. Yes.
So we love a dedicated
feline.
watch
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know if my cats would do that, but
oh, mine definitely would not. Can you imagine Cougar going anywhere fast at any time? She doesn't even have front claws, so she's not even going to be useful.
How heavy is she? She's a pretty big cat.
She's like 15 pounds.
Okay.
Actually,
right.
To be fair, all of them are like 15. All three of them are a total. Wait a minute. What's 15 times 3?
Hold on. Math.
3, 4, 50, 55.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah,
I think so. Should I check it? We should check our math.
I'm gonna embarrass myself. I said we weren't experts.
We're not good at math, everybody. In case you didn't know.
45. I'm an idiot. So anyway.
45. So close.
Yeah. So yeah, 45. I have a total of 45 pounds of cat in my house at all times.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also have 2 cats. She has 3 cats. I have 2 cats. And yeah, we like cats in this podcast.
But Jinx and Salem, they're not 45 pounds
together. No, they're not. I think they're 26 pounds together. They're both like 13 pounds, something like that.
Decent.
Yeah, they're still little though. They're like, your cats are kind of like older than my cats.
They are. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Lynx is 3 now.
Oh, so cute.
Kind of hurts a little.
Aw. All right. Last thing, moving right along here. So Gen Z candidates are now eligible and are running for Congress. And this is not a political podcast, so I don't want to make this a big deal.
Right.
But I just thought this was interesting because not only there is one Gen Z candidate in Florida who did win his primary, which is really cool. He's like 25, I think, is what the article said. And I'm bringing this up because I think it's cool that younger people are trying at least to be involved in our government, and I think that's, I mean, there's a lot of old people. I don't know if you guys know, there's a lot of old people in Congress.
It is quite.
And so I think it's time to get some, fresh faces,
fresh thoughts, fresh opinions, fresh views. And also, I was seeing on the news recently regarding Gen Z as well that the economy in general, like the job market, is trying to prepare for their full integration into the higher workforce because they are coming in full force,
Mm-hmm.
like now, if not even sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a shift of dynamic that, companies are going to have to adapt to. It's not just a new generation, but it's a completely different mindset.
Yep.
And that's going to change the workforce as well. So good to see it. Good to see the integration happening.
Yeah. I think it's a positive shift. And if you've seen Gen Z on TikTok, you know that they are a force to be reckoned with, honestly.
Oh, yes.
Like,
yeah, they give no
truly
shits.
they're very into advocating for their rights and very
Yes.
very set in their beliefs, which is not a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's good. They're open to discussion, which I
Yeah.
like.
Which is the important part, especially in the government context as well. Always good to have a conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, on
Awesome.
that note, we're going to get into
Amazing.
our topic.
So we start our podcast journey in 2001. At that time, I was in first grade.
Yes, me too.
So that makes me feel a little bit weird. At the big 29 coming up here in a couple of months.
Boo.
I know, it's heart-wrenching.
What are you talking about? You're going to be like 25 forever, right? That's the age we agreed on.
Secretly 25 forever.
No, but we all know though that you are
Yes.
actually 54.
Oh
Or
my
no,
gosh.
I would say like 60. You're like secretly 60 years old.
You know what? Some people just enjoy being at home, knitting, sitting on the couch, watching jewelry television. It happens to all of us at this age.
You also have mom group energy. Like you are the mom of the group.
Back to 2001. I was not in 2001.
I don't know.
Besides my mom energy and 65 energy, there was a different energy happening in 2001. Do you want to know what it is?
Do I have a choice?
No, absolutely not. So
Okay.
the energy then was a system called RSS, which stood for really simple syndication. And this beautiful coded system basically took headlines and generated it, all the top headlines, generated it into this giant text file that people who were interested could receive and read through and see what's going on in the news, basically.
Okay, I have questions.
Okay, go ahead.
My questions are so you're saying that this was just an online thing that they like at the start of the internet, somebody coded this and was like, we're just going to generate something that combines all the news headlines and then people will read it.
From what I get, and of course, listener, correct us if we're wrong, of course, but I think that's the basic gist. Yes, it would just pump out a bunch of headlines that the consumer could visually consume in the form of text. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's also what a newspaper is for, I guess.
Right.
Also,
like, that's what I'm saying.
This is specific. It's on the
early
internet.
days of the internet were wild. I don't know.
They were trying everything.
They were trying hard.
Yeah. And what they were also doing is trying to apparently make that RSS of text into audio, which is why the podcast became what it is. So 2001 got this RSS code, but you also have two other players in the game. There's a David Weiner and Adam Curry. And Curry was huge in taking this RSS code and recoding it to spit out that text as an audio file.
Okay.
Right.
Which is
Weiner,
great.
I guess Weiner wasn't into it. He didn't really understand why somebody would want to do that.
I mean, I'm with him, honestly. Like, I don't get it either.
Yeah, he was not of the same mind at all. But Curry wanted to do it, so him and Weiner got together, recoded the RSS so that when all the headlines came in, they would generate in 2001, and it spit out the very first RSS audio file, or if you want to call it podcast, where it would basically just read out, or you could listen to all of the headlines.
But it wasn't a podcast until Apple got a hold of it, right?
This is true. Yes. So that was a very archaic podcast, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
It didn't really take off initially until, like you said, Apple took it into their own hands. And Apple came out with the iPod, of course, which we all know and love, from the Nano to the Touches to years and years of just iPod history. But basically, what really switched the gears is they came out with the podcasting opportunity where someone could download radio broadcasts direct to their iPod.
Fun.
I didn't have this.
Neither did I.
I think this was in 2005. So I was, at that time, I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
So I didn't have one of those.
We
But
definitely but we did the iTunes thing.
yes, exactly. Yes. So I listened to music.
And you could purchase podcasts instead of music on iTunes.
Right. Exactly. Yes. But I don't know. I guess looking back on it, I wasn't one of those to want to, download a podcast. I didn't really know what they were.
Well, and I think podcasts were definitely like more targeted towards adults at that time.
Yeah.
It has definitely evolved, and there's obviously like way too many now, including ours, and
including yes.
So I think that there's definitely a market now for like a younger audience than there was not before.
Exactly. And now, to your point, from its humble beginnings in 2001 up to about 2014, there wasn't a large volume of audience. There wasn't a large market. After 2014, though, it took off. There was a lot of main events. I mean, we had presidents that were giving speeches that were then downloadable for a podcast. We had Buckingham Palace's Christmas special with the Queen, God rest her, also downloadable as a podcast. So it started taking hold and started growing in the market. And then suddenly, right after 2014, the monthly podcast listener doubled from 39 million Americans to an estimated 90 million Americans listening to podcasts after 2014. Also, just to kind of get even bigger, in 2019, it was estimated at 165 million. So something changed in the market, obviously. And now pretty much everyone's listening to a podcast.
It's true.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to several. Like I have it planned out that I have like one to listen to every day of the week.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx.
So,
Okay. That's fascinating. What happened in 2014? Is there like a significant event?
I couldn't really see anything that was quote significant necessarily. Just an influx of, I guess, more high level people getting involved, or maybe different genres coming in. I know that one of them was noted for being like a true crime, like one of the first couple of true crime kind of styles. So I think it was also other minds coming in and being like, oh, I can actually do something with this. I mean, the first podcast is actually still running.
Ebola
oh my God.
Ebola happened in 2014.
Fantastic. I mean, maybe people were podcasting about it, but I certainly hope not.
Oh my God.
It's like the COVID of nowadays.
Every time I hear about the Ebola epidemic, I always think of the Key and Peele
oh my God.
thing where like he is Obama's like anger management.
Yes. Love that one.
It's my fave.
Love it so much. Yeah. So
where he does it at like the White House Correspondents' Dinner or whatever. It's so
that one is also, they are hilarious, first of all.
I know.
But outside of Ebola.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find other things. Hold on.
What was going on? I can say the first podcast is actually still going on. The first one that they claim was the very actual first podcast. It's called Open Source. It's by Chris Linden. And that is still happening. They are still airing episodes, they are still doing new stuff and putting out things, really often. So it stuck for some of them. I imagine during the earlier days, though, it probably fell off the map for a few, but definitely started skyrocketing after that 2014 timeframe.
Okay, so I was looking for a like timeline in
Yeah.
2014 of pop culture events, and
Right.
Wikipedia only has like the depressing stuff,
Oh my
like
god.
Ebola and
Yep.
Vladimir Putin signs a bill finalizing annexing territories,
Oh gosh.
just like a whole bunch of like world events, which is
Events. Yeah.
granted very important, but
Right.
not what I'm looking for in this particular
I mean, yeah.
instance. Let's see.
Well, while you're still searching, um, I guess the real question is who is listening? While we know there's an estimated 165 million in 2019 that were listening to podcasts, you would be interested maybe to know that the average age range for podcast consumption is between 35 and 54 years old. So
Hmm.
it's not a young audience necessarily. Like 35 isn't old, but the average statistics start at 12 plus, but that's not all that's not the majority of people who are consuming. Um so yeah, they make up 43% of monthly listeners at 35 to 54.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Good to know.
maybe. I'm not in that age range yet, but I'm creeping up and I'll definitely be adding to the statistic.
Let's see here.
Any hits?
I mean, let's see here. Colorado legalizes the purchase of marijuana for recreational purposes in January of that year.
Wonder if they made a podcast about it.
Probs.
What an interesting podcast that probably was.
I'm trying to think of like really punny
Like,
marijuana podcast
yes. Uh-huh.
titles.
Uh-huh.
Blowing smoke.
That would have been a good one. Also a really amazing song from Casey Musgraves.
100%.
Yes.
100%. I don't know. All this stuff is boring. CNN letting me down too.
Oh my god. Clearly there wasn't anything very significant.
Let me refine my search. Hold on.
As expected, also, things like Ebola and large events like that definitely do spur lots of movement when it comes to the media, which we're all really aware of. But obviously, within the last couple of years, we have had COVID to deal with, and during lockdown, as expected, podcasting, streaming, videoing, all of those technological internet based platforms were taking off. And so maybe Ebola was kind of the hit thing there, and maybe people were talking about it at the time and starting conversation.
I have a new list.
Oh
Okay.
no. What do you have?
So this is The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Started in February of this year. And or not this, but like 2014, not this year, obviously.
It's just started.
The Sochi Winter Olympics were in 2014,
which was probably a big deal.
The Oscars were hosted by Ellen
DeGeneres.
Correct.
Interesting choice.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was the pizza Oscars where she like bought everyone pizza or something.
Oh, that was probably gonna be like the one time I'd want to be in that crowd. I'm a sucker for good pizza.
Game of Thrones came back for a new season.
Have you watched the new one yet?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
I don't really watch it. I just watch it by proxy because Tyler watches it.
That's fair.
There's a lot of what's to keep it PG. There's a lot of parties happening.
Parties?
I don't know how else
two people parties.
Two person. Not always, you would think, but unfortunately, there's a brothel or two involved. Spoiler alert.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's HBO. So
oh my
like
goodness.
honestly,
This is no Hallmark movie. Okay. This is
well, I mean, yeah.
it's
Okay.
intense. I'm not a huge fan, but you might be. I
Well,
don't know.
so I watched all of the Game of Thrones when it was like coming out. Like I bought
Oh, yeah.
a subscription to HBO Max so
Mm-hmm.
I could watch it. But I haven't watched it since then. Like I
Yeah.
watched the whole final season. Like my dad and I would like talk
Mm-hmm.
about it and it was like a whole thing. But I need to rewatch everything. But I know this is a prequel. It's not like an
Yeah.
actual, it doesn't
Yeah.
really have to do with what's happening in the previous or
No.
the following,
No.
depending on, yeah. But
No.
anyway,
But it is there's dragons. That's really why I wanted to see it.
I mean, yeah.
There's dragons.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I mean, all any of those topics could have been topics for us. I mean, obviously we just started a mini conversation about Game of Thrones that's, started in 2014. So
That's true.
when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to absorbing audio content, people will listen to pretty much anything.
It's true.
It
It's true.
seems anyway. So
Moving
that
right along.
yeah, so that kind of concludes the mini history lesson. So 2001 to today, obviously had a lot of transition happening, obviously grew a lot more and even more so within the last 2 to 3 years with our own pandemic going on. And I think people in this day and age are just looking for a connection and looking for, that voice in the back at this
Yeah.
point,
Like
just
background noise.
yeah.
Feel free to use our podcast as background noise.
Yeah.
We're cool with that. Like don't listen to anything we're saying.
No.
If you want to clean your house while listening to us, that's
Mm-hmm.
totally fine. We
Yeah.
will not be offended at
Just
all.
lull you right to sleep with all the
All right.
unimportant content.
I mean, I think you
Yeah.
think very highly of your voice sound. But
I just got to keep that momentum, keep that confidence rolling. And with that, we're going to roll into our ad segment.
Hey, we're the husbands of mediocre content. Bringing you an ad segment that's missing, well, an ad.
This is a break brought to you by us because we're the only ones crazy enough to sponsor this thing.
If you'd be interested in sponsoring the Mediocre Content Podcast,
And we understand if you aren't.
contact our mediocre wives at mediocrecontentpodcast@gmail.com.
For now, enjoy this brief break from the podcast before we throw you back into more unimportant,
Dare we say, mediocre content.
okay, so welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're just going to go through the top 10 podcasts as they are seen based on the Edison podcast metric, which I have no idea what that is, but it's apparently important in this particular media.
Yeah.
So the first one obviously is surprise to no one is the Joe Rogan Experience. Love him or hate him. This is what it is now.
Can I be
apparently.
honest?
Yeah.
I don't know who this person is.
That's good. That's really good. I'm happy for you.
Can you give me a synopsis? What this?
So he's a controversial,
Great start.
controversial podcast host, I guess, and he does interview style, like shows, I guess. So he'll have, and his whole thing is that he has people who he just wants to explore their viewpoint.
Interesting.
And so he'll have really controversial people on the show.
Perfect.
Just to get views and stuff. But
okay.
He's also, the meme is, I don't because I've never listened to the show. I don't know what it is, but the meme is that finance bros listen to him, or bros, it's a red flag if you're dating someone and they listen to the Joe Rogan Experience because they're just a douchebag, basically.
Oh no.
Is what
oh no.
And no shade.
But it's number one.
Right. So people
for the drama.
I don't know. Yeah, for the drama.
For the drama. Guess. That's gotta be it. No way.
I don't know. I don't know of anyone in my life that listens to it. I don't know.
I wonder if people who do listen to it are genuinely yeah, this guy's got good vibes. Or if they're literally just I watch it for the laugh. Like,
I mean, some people like, and there's hate watching is a thing.
Hate watching is a thing. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
he gets the views.
Yeah.
Or listens in this case, I guess.
I mean, and he's what, like a privileged white guy, so
yeah.
What was that noise on your microphone?
I'm sorry. It was supposed to be like but it turned into some kind of weird.
I don't know what that was. It sounded like you just dunked yourself underwater or something.
I mean, might as well. Just trying to get out of the situation.
Sorry, listener.
Oh man. But anyway, next.
All right. So the second one is Crime Junkie, and I think I can say with certainty that neither of us have listened to this.
Tyler does.
Oh, really?
So I might have heard a episode, but it's not like I'm going out of my way to religiously listen to this group. But they are a very popular group. I can say that there are quite a few of my friends that do listen to it. Obviously, like I said, Tyler does. So
is it basically just like murder stories?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Which they give me the willies.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Oh my god! So I was at a soccer game this weekend with one of my coworkers, and she and her husband were telling us about how they watched Dahmer on Netflix.
I could never.
And she was like, Blair, do not watch this at nighttime.
Nope.
Have all the lights on in your house, even if it's daytime. And it is just so disturbing. Like, it's like, but she said the problem is that it's that car crash effect. Like once you start watching it, you can't stop, even though it's like really, really gross and not appropriate for young audiences.
Enough mental illness to not need to add that kind of strain on my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I have watched other like serial killer documentaries because
you like to do that to yourself,
apparently. But I have to be like in the right mood. Like I have to have time to like binge TV, you know. I can't just like pick it up and put it down. Like I have to watch the whole thing. But like it's I don't know. It like for me, it's the fascination of like how their brain works.
I guess
similarly to like why I minored in religion in college is because like I wanted to know what the deal, like why do people believe so strongly in this, and like why do people do what they do, and you know, it's like that whole social
you got it.
Sociological,
there you go, nailed it.
Sociological point of view is what I'm looking for.
I guess I don't want to go that deep in my own head most days.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, moving right along here.
Next one,
The Daily is number 3.
Don't know what that one is myself.
It sounds like news, which seems reasonable.
Yeah, it sounds like The Daily Show with what's his name? Shoot.
Trevor Noah.
Trevor, that's right. Sweet little Trevor. Have you seen his afro recently?
Yeah.
It's popping.
It's cute.
It is very cute.
I think I read that he's not doing he like resigned from The Daily Show, or he's like not doing it anymore because he's dating Dua Lipa or something. And like apparently if you date Dua Lipa, you can't also have a day job. I don't know.
I mean, one kiss, you fall in love, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. I did look it up really fast. The Daily is the New York Times podcast.
Oh, okay. All right. So
yes,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it is news related. And
did you do the Wordle thing? I know that's old, but like I don't think we ever talked about it.
No, I never do. I guess I'm just out of the loop. Again, 65 to 70. I lived under a rock until I saw you guys doing it at your wedding. Full disclosure. I didn't know what the Wordle was.
Wordle at our wedding?
Yeah, Sienna was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we were doing it like while we were getting ready. Oh my gosh.
That was the first experience with Wordle, and I still didn't even do it. I just watched everyone else do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And there's like Quirtle and Octurtle now because there's like 8 different screens. It's crazy. I don't do it anymore.
Hard pass.
I think my parents still do, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not very good with words. I get things mixed up and wrapped up really weird in my head. I don't think I'd be very good at it. I'm not a Scrabble type person.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Number 4 on our lovely list is
Yes.
This American Life. And
This
Chris says that he
Life.
actually listens to this. And
Oh,
it's
really?
and he said it's kind of like, have you ever seen that Instagram of, it's like profiling people on the New York street?
No.
I forget what that's called.
Rude?
I know. I'm the worst. Why? I'm thinking Anyway, it's basically just like profiling people in different walks of life.
Interesting.
Is what he made it sound like. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's true either. I'd be interested to listen to maybe one.
I still think the title gives Little House on the Prairie vibes.
It does. It definitely does. This American Life. Yeah, definitely. It doesn't sound like it would be kind of like a rude show, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know. Number 5, my favorite murder.
Which, how could you have one? It's my question.
Well, you'd only have one episode because it would just be the one.
It'd just be the one, I guess.
The one, you can only have one favorite.
Clearly they don't if they're in the top 10.
They like all kinds of murder.
All kinds. They're lying to you. It's not their favorite. It's their second or third.
Stuff you should know.
My favorite.
That one. Yeah, that one's your favorite.
That one is 100% my favorite. I love Josh. I love Chuck. I even love Jerry. She never talks, but she's fantastic. And I want to see them on tour really bad.
Cool.
I do. Yeah.
Cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Maybe we could go for like research purposes.
Yeah, strictly for research purposes.
Strictly research purposes.
How do you do it?
Exactly.
Because this is hard.
Number 7 is the Ben Shapiro Show.
Which I feel like I know who he is.
Hold on.
But I don't know.
I'm gonna Google.
Okay. I feel like I know who he is, but I've never heard of this podcast. Would be the hang up.
Okay. Benjamin Aaron Shapiro is an American conservative political commentator.
That's probably why I don't listen to it.
At age 17, he became the youngest nationally syndicated columnist in the United States. He is currently 38.
Good for you, Ben. Yeah, I don't
Not on my radar.
Yeah, I don't consume a lot of political pieces.
Yeah,
or
I agree.
You know, like I do my duty. I vote. I make sure I know who's in what running and, you know, use my rights. But as far as like being completely involved in it, I would just get so exhausted with it.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I like just going through election season is exhausting.
The climate is just so sometimes a little traumatizing.
Mildly.
Yeah. So couldn't, but anyway.
All right. Number 8 is Call Her Daddy.
Which sounds weird. I have heard of it, but I've never listened to it. Yeah,
so they do like kind of like they're the opposite of the Joe Rogan Experience. Well, not the opposite, but they're like the girl version of the Joe Rogan Experience.
Love that.
They do like controversial interviews. I guess
it always have to be controversial. Good
gracious. Because didn't you hear about the Jamie Lynn Spears interview they did?
No.
Where she went on and was like trying to promote her book.
What?
And they were kept asking her about Britney, and like Britney
all
commented on all this stuff. And well, no, but like Jamie Lynn kind of did her dirty. And
really?
Yeah.
Why?
I forget the details now because it was so long ago.
Drama.
But it was it's the drama. You know, they're interviewing these people for drama.
Absolutely. Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Number 9 is Morbid. I don't know what that is, but it sounds terrible.
Nope. Not even going to look it up.
And then number 10 is Office Ladies, which I listen to weekly.
Sounds like I will be also at some point.
You need to, because I'm the meme where like The Office takes up a good portion of my life and I feel bad about it. But I can't. I just can't help it. It's so good. And it's just
it
so
is.
nice to have on in the background.
I imagine it is. And I love all the ladies of the office. It reminds me a little bit of like the concept makes me smile because I think of Girl Code, which was on MTV, and Guy Code, which was on MTV. I lived for those shows, and then those ladies also went on to like College Humor, and then I forget the other girl. She went off to have, I think it was like
Nicole
Bake It or
Byer
Fake
was
It.
on that show.
Yes, it's
and now
fantastic.
she has her own like. She's got a whole bunch of different things.
She
she does the
so
cooking show
yes.
on
yes
Netflix, which is
Bake
so
It or
good.
Fake It, isn't it? Or is it Cake?
It's no.
Which one is it?
It's the
look it up.
No, I know what it is. I literally watched it the other day. It's where they get all of the worst cooks, like the worst home cooks, and then they put them on the baking show, and then they just fail epically. I love it. The whole time.
Nailed it.
It's so good.
Yes. So she is so cute. I love her. Yeah. So I should probably watch it. I should probably listen to it.
You brought up Girl Code. I hope that unlocks some childhood memories for some people.
I really do. I loved Girl Code because it was comical, but also educational. And as somebody who was still what I guess I was in college. We were in college when I was watching that. Or maybe high school to college.
I specifically remember watching that like on my parents' home TV, but also that's probably because I didn't watch TV in college because I didn't have a TV.
That's true. Well, I think I watched it in college. I definitely did not watch it in high school. But it was a really good a really good show.
Yeah.
And I even liked the Guy Code, and I liked that both shows still had the other gender like commentating.
Oh yeah.
On some of the topics. So
for sure.
Really, if you've never watched Girl Code or Guy Code, look up a couple episodes. It's totally worth it. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but it's really
definitely
fun.
Probably on YouTube.
Yeah, gotta be. I would rewatch it all the time.
All right, Kirsten. So tell us why podcast.
Why do I have to?
Because you're the one that wrote this. That's why.
Cheat sheet. So for starters, podcasting, as we talked about in the first half, has taken off. So it's first and foremost, I personally believe, I know it's like on the bottom of our quote cheat sheet list, but for me, I'm assuming a lot of it's the connection. A lot of it is you need that voice, you need that interaction. And I think podcasting is but one medium in all of this because, as we talked about, maybe with Ebola and definitely with COVID, things like podcasting and streaming and videos took off. People wanted the connection. They wanted to be able to hear somebody, wanted to be able to have a face, a sound, a voice, anything. So truthfully, even for me, that's one of the reasons that I listen to podcasts or I watch streams. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a lot of people really, like you said, need to have a voice in the background. And a lot of people watch the news, you know, and they put it on in the background.
Right.
But the news is hella depressing. So I think it's nice to have just like people talking about random things.
Yes.
And positive things too, sometimes, you know, because I think people like to have that talking voice, but it's just a lot of it can be really negative sometimes.
And I think also, and especially if you're an American, you probably do a lot of commuting and a lot of driving and a lot of, or even if you're not driving, you're probably traveling. And so it's also nice to have that like getaway. It's almost like it's taken over music a little bit. You're now just listening, and whether it's podcasts or even audiobooks have become extremely popular.
Yes.
Again, it's just that extra distraction away from the world, gets you through whatever you're going through or wherever you're headed, and can be really fun and enjoyable. So
Chris and I, we just recently, listener, just for you, we just recently moved across the country and we drove the whole way.
It's a long
So
drive.
it was nice to have the podcasts that like we listen to a lot of the Am I the Asshole podcast.
Love that.
And it was fun because we got to chat while we were listening to them to like secretly judge the other people, you know, in the scenarios and stuff. It was pretty cool. And it was nice because like you can't on an 8-hour drive, there's only so much you can talk about. Like even if it's with your significant other, there's like only so many things you could talk about.
Well, and it also passes the time. So as far as I know, at least the ones that I listen to, they're like an hour long.
Exactly.
So it passes the time so easily because you're so focused that you're not even paying attention to how long you've been in the car. So
yes, exactly.
So connection, I would say. Connection, maybe distraction is another good one.
Distraction is a good one.
But also convenience. So it's convenient to have audio as a consumption. We have headphones, we have AirPods, we have smart speakers, we have Bluetooth speakers. We have so much momentum for mediums of consumption for audio content. So it's accessible to the majority of people. It's easy to get your hands on. And
Spotify membership is free.
Exactly. So there's avenues for it. And statistically, 88% of Americans own a smartphone. That's mostly where I consume my audio content, whether it's podcasting or otherwise. So if 88% of Americans alone own a smartphone, imagine what the world statistic is. Imagine the number of people who own, I don't know, cars with radios. Everyone, probably. So you're consuming audio content. You got a smartphone, you're consuming audio content. Computers, consuming audio content. So you're constantly getting an ear workout, like all the time. It's basically what that statistic means.
True.
And to get a little more technical, I mean, if you're creating a podcast, chances are, unless you're us, you're probably trying to generate a large audience. You want to network, you want to get your name out, you want to do all of these wonderful things. And some people don't even start in podcasts. They start on YouTube and decide to create one. So they already have an audience and they just carry it over.
Yep.
Or some of my Twitch streamers that I watch, they're actually doing like live podcasts where instead of this setting where you have to connect with us after the show, they've got live feedback immediately.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, which can be good or bad in either setting because you're always going to have a troll or two. But
true.
You know, it's another way for them to network themselves, maybe gain some more revenue if it's their full-time job. And now they've got multiple platforms that they can, you know, tap into for that. So I would say those are the majority of the reasons for people. But in our case, it's just for us to talk for an hour.
Exactly. That's literally it.
More than enough excuse.
Yeah, really. That's the whole reason we're doing this. Yeah.
So honestly, that concludes this podcast.
Thank you to Jamie Lynn Spears.
Oh my goodness.
She was gonna be on our podcast today, but we ran out of time.
Yeah, it was that was definitely in the works. We definitely had that on the schedule for sure.
Totally. She's trying to sell books.
She is trying to sell books. I guess. Yeah, that's her angle these days. It's all about the books.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Mediocre Content.
And now we're going to turn things over to you. Yes, you over there, who sent over questions and comments to our email, maybe? No?
No. Well, I mean, this is so this week's question comes from no one because this is our first episode. So we have no one. We have our one listener, and that's it.
Yes, and they clearly couldn't have sent something because we didn't have an episode before this, but normally we'd be inviting you to join our closing segment called MC Q&A, where we get to hear any questions or comments you've sent in for a next episode. You can either send these to us to our tried and true email, mediocrecontentpodcast@gmail.com, or
You can tweet us at mediocre squawks because mediocre tweets was taken.
Unfortunately.
And I mean it was taken. Like we tried it with like underscore mediocre tweets.
We did.
Mediocre underscore tweets, mediocre
Everything.
tweets underscore. It was a lot. So
Yes.
mediocre squawks is our Twitter handle. So yeah, tweet us there. And thank you to our producers, sound engineers, and editors, aka us. And a special thank you to our husbands for recording our non-ad ad.
They did fantastic. Also send us some amazing claps in the Twitter as well as our email for them and sending them awesomes and awesome jobs. They'd love to hear it.
Yes.
But other than that, we're going to see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.